If you enjoy the content, I would appreciate you hitting the subscribe button and checking out my socials. Heya, I'm Smirky, and ramp is a key position on Vertigo for CT and T sides. Losing control will allow the T side to get set up for the executes and easily push you away. I've gone through a bunch of demos so you don't have to find out how teams are taking ramp control, and I have or will release a part 2 on how to hold or retake ramp later in the round. In Team CS, you should really know a minimum of 3 different ramp takes from this video, or else your setups will be static and easily countable with T-side smokes. So constantly change how you take ramp with the takes in the video. Enough talking, let's begin. Starting with the most common approach I've seen from the CT side, typically teams will have 2 players towards second ramp with your typical ramp smoke. From here, the first player will bang a flashbang off the wall that lands behind sandbag and allows you to peek behind it. After the flashbang and going for a peek, they will play reactive, ready for util, fight, or fall off against what the T side throws at them. But once you know you're safe and it's clear, most teams in every take will throw lots of HEs and mollies towards big box, since typically the Ts will wait for the ramp smokes to go before pushing, and it's just an easy way to deal damage. Let's have a look at Heroic's POV. Generally on double second ramp takes, your mid rotator will either do the smoke or drop it for you. In this game, Cadian's going to drop the smoke to Starn, where he will shoot it closer to A, allowing Tessers to pick it up after he smokes ramp. In this round, Tessers did line a smoke up in spawn. I'm not going to focus on these smokes too much, but if you want to know how to do these from spawn, you can check out Not's video about OC. However, if you want to do it normally, you can just stand next to this wall, aim at this cross, then take 2 to 3 steps and left click throw. And once you get good at it, you can do it on the fly. After the smoke, Tessers will make his way towards Crane, throwing the flashbang I mentioned earlier, then peeking off it. At this point, he can catch any Ts running up yellow if they want to take the risk. Once he knows ramp is safe, he's going to punish the T side for being passive by chucking HGs at them. Typically from here, the CT side will just smoke ramp and try to hold it as long as possible. But in this round, Tessers will sneak down towards the corner and watch the smoke fade. By watching the smoke fade, he's wanting to get into a fight with players hiding in this corner. And from his current positioning, he is in an unsuspecting off angle where most players will sit in this predictable corner. But unfortunately he's going to get mollied out. He will try and play another off angle by crouching behind the molly, but after will just put one through his skull. And from the eyes of Starn, he will play behind the sandbags ready to molly, flash or fight from this position. And I'll showcase this position later on in the video. But once there's no aggression, he will throw a flash for him and Tessers to peek off and throw nades. And Starn will throw a really cool HE as it bounces off the box and will get players behind it. However, after Tessers pushes, he'll wait for the smoke to begin to fade so he can molly the corner to give Tessers a much greater advantage, but doesn't work out as well. Now, if you're scared of those fast yellow players, you could get a teammate who perhaps smoked off ramp to molly yellow, forcing him back into your crosshair. In this round, Frozen is by himself on A, and the Molotov will be useful as if it was a rush, as he would get an early indicator that they are coming. To do the molly, get to this box, aim here, and left click throw. After the molly, he will head over towards ramp, flash, and spam the bottom of yellow. And it's worth noting ramp is considered a bit of a mind game, as when Ts throw this lurk smoke, they can go to yellow without you knowing. So to counter this, you could start throwing the yellow smoke, which I'll talk about at this timestamp in the video. Typically teams will throw this smoke to bait util from the CT side and play towards big box, but they could still use it to lurk, so do be aware. Now generally most teams will respect the ramp smokes, but how should you react when you're playing double second ramp against a fast player such as an eco? In round 11 we're going to see a similar start, where Tessers will peek out with a flash, but after holding, he will hear a lot of footsteps and combat to Starn on sandbags, and at this point they need to react or they're just going to get overwhelmed. Tessers will get himself into a safe position and throw a HE, hurting and slowing down any close Ts. Afterwards, he thinks about doing a crane molly, however heat are way too close, so he will make the right call and molly the second ramp, forcing the T's into the open, where you can tap their heads with stun. Now for stun, he will make his way onto sandbags, where he's ready to molly, flash or nade ramp. When the call is made the T's are pushing ramp, he will lob a nade, trying to soften them up. However, it's worth noting, you don't have to peek out like Tessus did it in this round, as instead you could just bounce a HE off the wall safely behind sandbags. But after the nade is thrown, he will fight with Tessus together on sandbags, but does so for a dink. To not die and leave Tessus isolated on A, he returns to cover and molly sandbags, making it difficult to play around the headshot angle. From here, Storm will play around the edges of sandbags, playing off Tessus. On a non-related topic, playing diverse and showing a lot of different faces instead of doing the same take can lead to a similar reaction to Afro. As in this round, he's worried someone may come out of yellow to trade his teammates, whereas if you're constantly playing double second ramp, it can be predictable. It's far from unusual to see teams play free towards ramp, which can be pretty effective against fast players or ecos. The whole point of this setup is to allow your two A players to fight near second ramp and crane, while your A rotator will smoke ramp and play in sandbags, ready to molly in case of aggression. We're going to see a similar face from Heroic, where they will throw a simple flash and peek off it. After waiting for a bit, knowing the T's are not actively fighting for control, they will start harassing the players around big box. For Cadian, we will have a similar role to Starn, where he will sit behind sandbags ready to help his teammates when needed. However, once the smokes decide to fade, he will throw a flash beforehand to get Opers off the angle and post himself on ramp instead of resmoking it. Having such a long range weapon on ramp can be super advantageous, as he will generally get ready to push, and is also really difficult to trade. Now let's take a look at a pace changer. There are some teams like Heroic and Vitality where they'll have 2 to 3 on second ramp, and one of the players will just rush down ramp, applying fast pressure and hopefully fragging any blind T's. In this round, Cadian is going to be the aggressor and will do the sandbag flash and send himself close to the smoke, getting himself an opening. From here he will peek yellow to clear it, lurk at the bottom of ramp for a bit, then later comes back up to make it hard for the T side to trade him. For his teammates, Tessus will peek behind Cadian while anti-flash, then watch his back. And Sam will have a HE in hand, just in case the T's come up as a pack. From Heat's POV, Jax is going to get fully blind when he goes out to help Body, and Cadian will just be in his face. And speaking of Body, he will run right past Cadian, but gets put to a stop. Now, you can't always have your CT plays on second ramp. Maybe 40% of your rounds should have a player on yellow to convince the T's that yellow is not rent free. You can generally do the same things like a sandbag flash for second ramp, but could have some slight variations. Frozen is going to be our first player in this example, and will bounce a flash off the crane to land in the face of ramp, and will make his way onto sandbags. You could do what Tessus was doing where he peeked out crane, but in this round it looks like Frozen wants to be a bit more passive. However, when there's no presence made from the T side, both him and Torzi will peek out ramp together, clearing it. To make sure they still have ramp control, Frozen will re-smoke ramp with a sick lineup. To do this, he will put his back into the corner of the box, aim at this point on the crane, and run and jump throw before hitting the yellowish mark. Now ramp is smoked off, he will hold the bottom of yellow for a little bit, before nading towards big box. Torzi is going to be wielding the big blue in this round, and will peek out with this flashbang. This flash is really sick, as it pops out as you peek out, and gets players both going up ramp or yellow. Once he peeks out, he clears yellow, and slowly transitions himself onto device, where he can see above the smoke and peeks with Peek's advantage, almost getting the kill onto Afro. Now let's take a look at round 23, where Vitality will do something similar, but Spirit will throw something fast against them. So as a reaction, they will fall off and throw a bunch of HEs to soften them up and later retake ramp. I'm not going to show their retake in this video, as I'm making it up, have made a video about how to hold ramp, as well as retaking it later in the round. Starting with Zaru, he will try to make his way onto Crane with the sandbag flash, but will get forced off due to the flashes from T-spawn and the footsteps on ramp. As a response, he will go sight and jump throw this nade that hurts players doing the sight smoke or going up sandbags. Afterwards, he will go sight and do the sandbag smoke that discourages the Ts from going forward, and this smoke can be used to retake or hold onto ramp control. Lastly, he will think about doing a molly for sandbags, but he will decide to keep it, likely due to how much time is left on the clock. Later, Vitality will attempt to retake it, but I'll show that in part 2. Apex is supposed to push yellow in this round, so at the start, he will come out elevator and molly yellow, then head over to Ivy where he will be smoked off with no support if he were to push out. Since Apex knows from Zaru that there's a lot of Ts, he will throw a nade into yellow and later try to wallbang it, hoping to deal some damage. Magisk is the A rotator in this round, and will head over to ramp upon the information. He's just going to join his teammates in harassing Spirit. To do his HE, he will go to the end of these metal poles, aim in line of this roof, and aim at the first platform on the crane, then left plus right click throw. And this HE is pretty nice, as from the same lineup, you can spam sandbags as they try to jump up. For your anti-ecos, you could use a setup for your ramp takes. In round 13, Heroic isn't going to smoke ramp as they want to use their guns for the long range fights against those pistols. Tessus is going to peek out Ivy and will hold out a molly, but isn't going to use it. He's holding it out just in case Starn or Cadian gives him the information that they're pushing up fast. Once he peeks out, he gives a good look at Big Box for any pistols before peeking out to see if anyone's forced out from Cadian's molly. For Cadian, he will head over to Crane for a look, but will soon molly the right corner, setting Tessus up to frag. And since Heat is on an eco, Cadian will take advantage of this, trying to push them away with util. He will crouch, aim at the E on place, take 3 to 4 steps back, then left click throw after taking 3 steps forward. This take can be really nice on your util, as you don't waste 3 to 4 pieces at the start and can be used later. But it's best to only use this take against ecos, or your head will just get taken off by an AK. Now let's have a look at our final take with yellow smokes. Your team should know how to do this, as over time, your default ramp smokes will get predictable, and they will find a way to punish your laziness. These yellow smokes are great as they offer 3 things. The take is more focused onto holding yellow control, make it tantalizing to take ramp as a T, knowing they could fight you from the front or the back. B, it counters the smokes the Ts would normally throw to allow them to cross into yellow, making them waste a smoke. But if they know you like to hold on to yellow control, they may just throw a smoke to help them fight for ramp and block you off. Lastly, it can give you a chance to get openings, as you can have gaps in the smoke to use as a one-way, or you can watch it fade. In round 9, Tessus will use the smoke to get our Ivy and place himself here so he can look over ramp knowing he is safe from yellow. And T's wanting to get aggressive and especially to do anything quick would unlikely check him as they need to cover the more important angles on second ramp. And helping Tessus is Starn who threw the smoke. To throw the smoke, hug the left wall, move a tiny bit to the left when you can, so use something like this. From here, put your crosshair into the right window, next to the wall, but it's in line with this white roof, and left click throw. Later, Starn will make his way to Crane to make sure no one pushes up the T's lurk smoke. However, in this round, he is going to execute on B, and Heroic will rotate. In round 15 for Heroic, they're going to do it again, and they're going to be in this setup, where Tessus will abuse the smoke key through to re-smoke yellow. But once it starts to fade, he's ready for a T to be behind it, so he will toss a nade, give it a spam, and just gets an easy kill. And honestly, it can be pretty common for T's just to sit in the smoke and try to glaive you. Let's have a look at Mouse's yellow take. In this round, Frozen will make his way onto yellow, and will molly, then peek behind it, making it difficult for the T's to contest. However, once he peeks out, he will try to look into the gap, but can't see anything due to the T smoke. After waiting for a while, he's going to re-smoke yellow, allowing the CTs to hold on to their control. But after a while, he's going to re-smoke yellow, allowing the CTs to hold on to their control. And later, he will make his way down, trying to use his smoke as a one-way. In this clip, I'm actually surprised you can see anything, or if it's just a guess. But this smoke can be used as a one-way to surprise your opponents. It's worth noting at the start of the round, Torzy will throw a nice supportive flash to set Frozen up for any kills. Now for our last take, again I want to look at Heroic and this really cheeky fast play they pulled off. And this really cheeky fast play they wanted to pull off. They're going to do the normal yellow smokes, however Tessus will get a supportive flashbang from Cadian to try and peek through the yellow smoke and get himself an opening. But unfortunately Afro gets the better of him. And for Stun, he's going to do a slightly different variation of the yellow smoke, where he'll come towards elevator, aim at this point, take a few steps while shift walking, and left click throw. And this yellow smoke will just land a bit closer towards Tessus, allowing him to have some room as he peeks out. However, after the smoke, Stun will come over towards Crane, and throw a flash for Tessus to peek off. From Afro's POV, he's going to get blind from Cadian's initial flashbang. When he tries to post again, he's just going to get blinded by Stun, and somehow just hits the shot onto Tessus. However, there was another round where Heroic did the exact same thing, and when Tessus made it down alive, he threw these pieces of utility to smoke off bridge, molly the left corner, and push himself down into big box, allowing the CTs to have so much more control, and really restricting the heat. Apart from that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe you want a way to abuse the rotations on your T-side nuke. Well, check out this video I did about Heroic's mind games in the description. Apart from that, thanks for watching. See you in a bit.